So when I was doing my final draft of the editing, at the beginning bit I added a dark piano tension which slowly builds, creating a more menacing feel to the beginning of the film. I stopped the music when that at the end of that clip. So yeah, because obviously we're now in a new scene and the mood has sort of changed. The sound it helps bring the flashback effect together, and I feel like it pieces it all together because it's like building up, and then it just, as soon as we change scene, it ends. It just shows the audience that we're not in the same place anymore, and so on. Then at the very end of the scene, I added again the dark piano tension, which slowly builds, creating a menacing feeling, and then stop the music at the end of that clip, just like I did at the beginning. So it shows that we're back in it creates the same feeling as the beginning, and the audience know that it's a flashback and they're aware of the transition. Here I deleted the clip when Noah was walking back and forth because I didn't think it fitted in the scene. So that I made this clip a bit longer so we can see the bowl be placed down. Then added the cross dissolve so the change in cocaine can be noticed, because before the bowl hadn't actually been placed down before the transition, so it didn't look as smooth and you couldn't tell that there was a change in the amount of powder as well before, but now you can. At the end, I did dark tension music, which builds up until the big reveal, and then dies straight down at the end. This makes the reveal feel more dramatic because throughout that last scene, it's just building up to this one big reveal. So I just placed the music into the bottom of the scene and played it all throughout. And I cut a bit of the music out, I cut half the music out because I didn't want to use all of it, just only enough for that scene. Then I faded it in at the beginning and at the end, so it slowly builds into the music instead of it just starting straight away. Here I added a song called Cold into the scene, and it plays through scene 6 to the end of scene 11. This is because all of this, because where it starts, this is his downfall in the alleyway where he gets he gets robbed, and that's sort of his downfall, and then scene 11 is where before he gets back into the shed. So I feel like that was effective to play all the way throughout, because it's just emphasising that this is a turning point in his life, and it's obviously it's not going well. At the end of the alleyway scene, I did cut the music and set it down in decibels, and then just so it's not as loud and overpowering, because there is some dialogue and everything. But just to make it a smooth transition in the sound, I added a cross dissolve, so you couldn't really make out that it was getting quieter. At scene 10, I started the sharpen keyframe at the beginning, and then only a couple frames later set it back to 0 to make the pull focusing a lot quicker, and so the whole shot doesn't appear blurry, because it's not too long of a shot, and before a lot of it was blurry, whereas I want it to be clearer. For the transition between scene 10 and 11, I did a police sound effects where it would say 999, what's your emergency. So then I recorded the voice of actor Louis, who was meant to be playing the father of Craig, the kid who died, and then who was sort of replying to the officer or the ambulance woman. And then I downloaded a police siren sound effects so I can play it throughout Louis' dialogue, because the audio of the 999 sound effect had a little siren playing throughout. So I added this in so it sounds consistent. So for the credits, I added a legacy title and clicked on roll, so the text will move up the screen. Then ticked start off screen and end off screen, so the text suddenly doesn't just pop off on or off the screen when the duration ends. Then I added dark piano music throughout the credits and timed it so when the music starts, the text pops up, which I felt made it a bit more interesting to watch. Here I recorded some of the dialogue for Noah and the drug dealer's conversation because we could hear people talking and play in the shot originally. So then I placed this audio over with this clip, and then I had to cut it up so the audio matched the way they spoke. And then the areas where there was no audio, I did just some ambience, so it didn't sound like there was audio. Then it just went silence and then back to audio. Just added some ambience so it feels a bit more realistic. Then once again I recorded sound for some of Kieran's dialogue because on the day it was too windy, so I placed this audio over the video and matched it up so it looked like he was actually saying it. Here I did the Harlem Shuffle instrumental as he's doing all his like drug deals with all these different people. And I did this because it was like more upbeat and it suggests that this is like a turning point for Noah and how he's now making money. I started the music as he shuts the top of his bed because I felt like it seems like a new starting point of his life. So even though it's upbeat, the audience might not condone what he's doing, but it shows that like he is moving forward. He feels that he's moving forward. Then I had it slowly fade out as we get to the alleyways things. It makes so there's not such a drastic change because then the music starts and it gets a bit more eerie. But I like the change. I like that it plays through, it's still upbeat, and then it slowly changes, so make it feel a bit more menacing and letting the audience know that something is wrong. So the audience noticed a shot where the door was meant to be locked, but was actually open. So I went out and refilmed this shot, and then slotted it in where the old one was. But I made this shot slightly longer because the clip before made the clip before a bit shorter because we saw Elliot accidentally open the door, and so I done this to maintain continuity, and it looks like the door is closed throughout. Then for this clip, I just used the audio that was from the original clip and deleted the audio from the clip that I refilmed because it was quite windy and I could hear someone talking in the background, so I just didn't use that and just used the audio from the original clip where you could still hear the door shaking, so it all felt still realistic. Here I set all the audio to -20 decibels on this scene because someone who watched my movie picked up on the very windy audio, so I lowered it a lot, and the music playing over it meant that it didn't sound as bad and you just couldn't hear it, and to us therefore it's less disturbing for the audience, and it just feels better for them to watch and they can be more intrigued in what Noah is doing instead of being disrupted by the audio. So when I was editing this final draft, I mainly focused on the sound because I made sure that I had the right continuity, image correction for my first draft, and then for the next draft I could have all this sound and like music, so I could help create the narrative and set the mood even further. For example, the Harlem Shuffle instrumental music creates a narrative because it shows to audience that that is more of a happier or like productive stage of Noah's life, and he feels like he's maybe getting somewhere, or like the cold song that plays throughout sets the mood for the movie because it further suggests that this is like not going well for Noah, and creates a narrative because it sets the tone of the film and enhances the emotion felt by the character and the audience. Then I added sound effects, for instance, when there are flashbacks, which it was all used to create narrative because it helps make some of the effects seem more realistic and help push narrative along. Also, the voiceover when we hear police and Louis helps the audience know that the kid has died and that Louis was his father, so it makes more sense later on because he is the one who has gotten captured, and before some people have watched my movie said that wasn't quite clear, but now it should be clear enough. So I feel all the music and sound effects makes the audience sympathise with Noah and feel more involved in the movie, and to create an intense, eerie atmosphere at the beginning and at the end. So, which is what I said I wanted from the start with my objectives and intended audience response. So I deleted the second tree transition, as in my audience feedback, it came to a bit of a shock for them, and it didn't seem as natural as the one before. So I deleted it and did a quick cross dissolve transition, which I felt fits better, and it still keeps the music. The music doesn't change, because otherwise if I had to make one clip shorter, then the bit where the music sort of changes and he's counting money, that wouldn't fit together as well. So because I did this cross dissolve, the time stayed the same and the music still all fits together, which was what I wanted. Overall, I feel my final draft achieved all my objectives, purpose and intended audience response. For instance, the music really helped create the atmosphere and that I wanted for each scene, and helped like narrative flow. So yeah, for example, I feel like the audience will be shocked at the end of the movie, and like will learn to sympathise with Noah, and like they'll be torn between right and wrong at the end, because obviously they know why he did it, but should he have done it? And then, for example, all the close-ups that I've put into the film and the Dutch tilts at the beginning and everything, I use them to try and create an uneasy, eerie atmosphere, which is what I put in my objectives, and I feel like I have achieved that. So yeah, that is my final movie, my final draft.